Okay, this is section 5. I think we have 5 and 6 left. So we'll do 5 today, 6 tomorrow. I'm not going to do a quiz on 5 and 6. I'm going to pass out the reviews tomorrow for chapter 7. We'll go through it Wednesday, and then we'll take the chapter 7 test on Thursday. Okay? On Friday, we're going to do a practice NWEA. Just to see where our growth is for this semester. You won't have to do it because you're a senior. If you meet your goal, which I'm going to look at the spring test last year and the fall test this year, and if you have, we shoot for a 2-point growth a year, so 1-point growth would be kind of what we expect at semester. So if you have a 1-point growth, I'll probably do a 90 for a quiz grade. If you have 2 or more, I'll do 100 for a quiz grade. That'll go in for the quarter. Okay, so again, I think by doing that, I'm not making you any smarter to be able to answer any questions better, but I'm hopefully incentivizing you to at least do your best on the test, because you'll know you'll get 100 or a 90, which is an A either way, for a quiz grade on the quarter, which will just help boost your grade. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 7.5, which is just dealing with, first off, a triangle where you're told this is parallel to that. If you're told it's parallel, let's just say, if you're told it's parallel, and my dimensions are all messed up, but the numbers are good, you know the ratios are equal on the sides. So that this means 3 over 6 is 4 over x. This is 1/2. That must be 8. Okay? The ratios are in proportion if they're parallel. Now, if I'm told, I don't know that they're parallel, but this is 8, the converse is true also. If the ratios are in proportion, then I know those are parallel. So if I'm told they're parallel, ratios are in proportion. If the ratios are in proportion, you know it's parallel. Question on that? If I have 2 lines that as drawn are not a triangle, and I go through even at 3 transversals, if those transversals are parallel, the pieces of those legs, those transversals that are created, are also in a proportion, as long as those lines are parallel. Does that make sense? The converse is also true. If I know that this and this are proportional to this and this, then I know those 2 transversals are parallel. Okay, so I think the first page, this was kind of the purpose, talking about triangles that have parallel bases, and then two lines that may never intersect on one end, but have parallel transversals, the relationship of the sides that are created. The last piece of information, which was I think on the second page of the textbook, had to do with triangles that are intersected with angle bisectors. Okay, if it's intersected with an angle bisector, let's call this A and B, and this C and D. I know A is to B, SC is to D. The corresponding part of the 2 pieces of the triangle, the base here, that ratio is the equivalent of the corresponding side on the outside. Okay, that's really all this section is talking about parallel lines, triangles, transversals, and then angle bisectors in a triangle, and how to set up the proportions there. Okay, if we look at the textbook check, (7.5). And this one is DE parallel to CB. So we have 18 over 6, is that equal to 24 over 8? Yes? So they are parallel. The next one, find BC. 15 over 10 equals, I'm assuming, which you never should assume, but because they're asking to find it, the only piece of information that will allow you to find it is if EB and DC are parallel. So I'm going to assume they are. 15 over 10, well, that is 3 halves. 12 over what is 3 halves? 8. Next one, we've got the 2 lines with 3 transversals, and we have A over 20, 9 over 15. 3/5, so what's A, 12? Yes. And then here, find B. So what proportion could we set up to find B? You could go 3 over B is 2 over 4. 1/2. So I would say B is 6. And then finally, we have an angle bisector. So I could say 9 over x is 21 over 14. What is this? 7, so 3 halves. And 9, 3, so x is 6. Okay, questions on any of those? Not bad. I have graded the quizzes, so I can pass those back. The grade is an Infinite Campus.